friends. This is some video that I took of the orbs that I'm seeing up in my sky. They are just so cool. They are definitely ET in origin. You can see them morphing. A couple of different times I actually caught a glimpse of a being inside of the light orb. What really got my attention, I guess, is that one night when I went out, they were side by side, and there'd only been one light, so it was an extra light that showed up. And then another night they were linear. It was two of them again, so they move around. They're below the cloud cover. I can tell now with my bare eyes looking at them which ones are the craft and which ones are stars. I can tell pretty easy now. So I've had kind of a difficult past few days. For those of you who may have read the message that I left for Edie, I guess that all of it really officially started Thursday night. Thursday night, I had a reptilian come through my wall. He came through a portal. There's a portal that the guardians open, and they shove these guys right back in through that portal. So Thursday night, I'd seen this reptilian come through. It was the very first one I have ever seen. And he was very different from the rest of the beings that I normally see. He was a dark green color. Most of the time, I see everybody in black and white. Once in a while, I'll catch like a little tint of pink or brown or something on somebody, but 90% of the time it's all black and white. So when this thing came through, I kept my eyes directly on him. I did not really even look at his body. I just looked at his face the whole time. So as soon as he pops through, the first thing I do is, well, hello. I tried to by far do the sweetest grandma hello that I could ever do. But I didn't take my eyes off of him. And you see, the thing is, up until not even up until Thursday maybe, I didn't even know that if these things were real. I had no idea the difference between a reptilian and a Draco and anything else. So this thing, from what I can find online, I've been doing some research, was definitely a reptilian. He was a dark green color. It looked to me like he had something on his shoulder. As far as clothes are concerned, I really didn't pay any attention. I was looking at his face. After I said hello to him, it really shocked him. So he just kind of stopped. And I noticed that he looked over to the corner of my room where my guardian, the one that I call the cool guy, he looked at him, he paused, he turned and went back through the portal in my room. I never thought anything about it, never made any connections. I just thought, oh, it's something I'm going to have to look out for, make sure that, I'm prepared in case that thing comes back again. So the next night was Friday night, and I'm going to tell you the truth, I really dreaded going to bed Friday night because after what I had seen come through the wall, I was genuinely concerned about it. Well, there were guardians all over the place outside. Every tree had like at least 2-3 large guardians in it. Every single tree that I saw, they were en masse. So that made me more nervous. So I didn't get to bed until about midnight that night. And I came in here and everything was kind of normal. It didn't seem like there were a lot of different beings in here. It was like not anything that bad. Well, next thing I know, one of the guys that looks like a Nordic, I'm pretty sure he is, he makes the angel with another one and covers me up. And then all of a sudden I noticed, like at the back side of my room, now in my room, it's like the dimensions are, there's a fine line between them. I have seen some stuff, you guys, but in the far side of my room, I noticed there was this white cloud blanket like looking thing on the floor, and all of a sudden this 2 or 3 other beings came in and like stood on top, and then I looked and I saw what was happening. And I'm going to try to keep it together. But something had, I guess, invaded the one that I call the cool guy. So the two guys who had came did everything they could to try to save him. They had did some sort of, it looked like a shamanic, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say that, ritual. And they used something to try to pull this entity out of him. And it looked like at one point they had pulled this like fluorescent blue thing out of him, coil. But I looked over, because at that point, I mean, all of us, this went on for hours. I mean, hours. And there were all these different beings in my room. They were all working on him. They were all trying to save him. And once everything had kind of settled down, I looked over and Tal was crying. I had honestly thought that because their bodies were in a different dimension, I really thought that they were invincible. I had no idea. So then it really brought home to me the night that I fought with Big Ugly when he grabbed Tal from behind. And it was a big realization. And I'm going to tell you the truth, this video that I took this video the same night that the cool guy was killed. I took this video the exact same night. So this video, I gotta be honest, it took me a long time to edit it because I kept looking. I don't know, I just kind of thought maybe I'd get lucky and get a picture of him. So knowing what I know now, I have something, with the letters 357 in my bed along with bear spray, because I figured the bear spray would be enough to at least stop it for a few seconds so I could get a better aim. Just in case that reptilian slime ball happens to come back through, which I'm hoping that he doesn't. The next night, Saturday night, I guess that they kind of figured that I might have been a little scared after the night before. So Saturday night, there was like a whole line of these great big people, like probably 2 foot down from my ceiling, maybe 3 foot. And then there were guardians on top of that. And I guess the guardians were feeding them to these guys. And then these guys were dropping them down. And there were guardians on the bottom that were scooping them up as they dropped down from these big guys. These guys were being sent right back through the portal as soon as they came down. Now, this taught me something really, really important, because when they dropped these entities down, when the big guys dropped them down, they would make a beeline for me. They would try to shoot their shot. Some of them did, not all of them, because a lot of them know now that I'm just not scared of them. But that told me that they can't harm us. The ones I tell you, like the Kiss Boys and the other ones, they can't harm us. They can't do any harm to us whatsoever. Because if they could have, then those guys would have never allowed them to come anywhere near me. I know that. So that was a good thing to know. And I think I have kind of made the connection, you guys, between these different dimensions. I have done a ton of research these past few days because I had to stick my head into something. I mean, I was so traumatized. I had to just focus on doing something. So I really spent some time looking over like the different beings, the different places that they come from, what their characteristics were, what kind of levels they were on as far as dimension-wise. I'm pretty sure I saw a tall white last night. It was the very first one I've ever seen. He looked a little bit like a Nordic, but just lighter, much lighter. I do have a couple of Nordic guardians also, but I haven't seen them in a little while, and that's okay. I want them to be safe. Now, hopefully I have gotten all of this correct, but this is the way I understand it now. If there's any changes, if I find anything that's different, I will update you guys as I do that. But we are currently in a 3D world. Most of these extraterrestrials are in a 5D, most of them. There are ones that are much higher than that. If you're at a higher level, you can see everyone and everything below you, but not above you. So the way some people think is that they think that the fourth dimension is kind of what they call the monsters dimension. Like that's where most of the scary, creepy things are. But let's think about it this way. If the whole planet shifts into 5D, we don't have to worry about those 4D beings because they can't even see us. They won't be able to even interact with us. Now, I have been seeing the fairies, and I am sure that they are a part of this also. Sweet little fairies, you know. They've got me wrapped around their tiny little fingers. So I'm kind of wondering at this point if maybe they have already shifted into 5D as a species. And the reason why I think that is because on several different occasions, I have left them gifts that people say that they would like to have. One time a bear got to it, so I don't think they got anything. But the other times they never took the gifts that I gave them. And they were things that, you know, I'd read that they would like to have, and they're around me all the time. So I think that if they could take these gifts that I'm giving them, that they would. You know, I can't see any reason why they wouldn't. And here's something to think about too. I hear all the time that when we go into this fifth dimension that we're going to become light beings. We're going to lose our bodies. Guys, I don't think that's true. I really don't, because again, my friend who was emmed here, his body was someplace else. He has a body. When all of these people talk about these different beings that are on these different planets, they have bodies. They have bodies on these different planets. The Palladians, they have bodies. And I'm kind of thinking about it this way. If the fairies would have made that leap as a group, if they would have made that leap into 5D, which is what I think happened, if they didn't have bodies, if they lost their bodies, somebody would have found like a whole large pile of fairy clothing, fairy bodies. I mean, there would have been something, I think, to tell us that all of a sudden they were gone. So I think that we probably do keep our bodies. I mean, now it might not be the same body. It might, hopefully not. Hopefully we're going to get some upgrades. But I will tell you something else that I spoke with everyone here about. I can't even remember now what night it was. I think it was Sunday night. I had gotten I have a full-size massage chair because I have fibromyalgia. I think Lady Gaga does a really great job of explaining what it is. But basically, in my case, if I go 3 nights without sleep, I have a major flare-up and I am hurting really bad. So, of course, the night that my friend was gone, and the next night, I hardly slept at all, either one of those nights. The first night, I mean, maybe a couple of hours, I finally passed out. But, so I got into my chair Sunday night, Yeah, it was Friday and Saturday I didn't sleep. I got in my chair Sunday night, and a couple of the guardians were so cute. Oh my gosh. They were above me, like looking down at me like wide-eyed. Like, are you okay? Your whole body is vibrating. Are you okay? It was so cute. Oh my goodness. I just love them so much. I can't even tell you guys. So when I came in here, I was talking to them and I said, one of the things that I don't know if there's anything that can be done about it, but I want to just bring up one really important point. And that is that there's a lot of people here on Earth who are ill, very, very ill. They fight every single day just to get out of bed. They fight to get their stuff done. They're in pain all the time. And the thing is, I have known people who were, decent, kind, caring, loving people who became permanently injured and became a vicious human. A really, really ugly human. So I said to them, I don't know if there's any way for you all to heal some people even before the transition, but that might be something to consider. If you can do that, it might help bring some more people around who are really suffering. Because when you're really suffering and you're really in pain, like I said, I've seen people. My best friend just passed away. This July will be a year ago. And she had a lot of chronic illnesses. When you're in so much pain and you just can't get relief, the last thing that you're ever going to think about is being loving and kind to somebody else because you're in survival mode. Now, our media is keeping us hyped up in fear. So you have fear and you have survival mode and you have all this anger that's going on. I have heard over and over that these reptilian beings are trying to keep our frequency low, as well as these insectoid kind of beings as well, that they're trying to do the same. The reptilians took over a planet, and I forget the name of it, from the tall whites. And apparently they've been interfering here to try to keep us down so that we can't go up to 5D. Plus, we're not going to get as much help from these other people until we get this frequency up. Now, I don't know about you guys, but one of the things I've been thinking about is tackling the fear issue. I think that that's where maybe I could help people the most, where I could have the most impact with people, because I can be Pollyanna all day. I can be grandma with chocolate chip cookies every day, because I do love everybody. When I tell you that I love you, I mean it. And I love you guys. And that was part of the reason too why when our friend, I told the other ones too, I said, when I tell you I love you, you have to know I mean it. Me sobbing for 2 days straight was pretty much enough. And I'm not a crier. I'll tell you what, I am really not a crier. But I've never seen anybody have something like that happen to them. And especially, I've seen this young man, he's been around me every single night now for months and months. And my heart just really broke over him. I kind of feel like my strongest suit in all of this would be to tackle fear, because I am fearless. I really and truly do not have any fear. As a matter of fact, I'm going to share something funny with you. The little KISS guys, I've told them that if they really wanted to be scary, they really needed to make their face look like a head of broccoli. Because nobody really wants to eat healthy. And can you imagine a head of broccoli flying at you across the room? So I'm trying to convince them, because that would be really kind of scary to see broccoli flying at you. But most of them have stopped making the silly faces, because they know that I'm just not scared of them. I understand everything. And truly, I want them to raise their vibration too. I want them to be able to come. Can you imagine the jump scare parties we could have with those KISS boys? I'm telling you what, we could have a lot of fun. So I still can't communicate with them. And I'm kind of thinking that that might be something on their end, me not being able to communicate with them, because I've heard all of these stories that people say that if they want you to hear what they're saying, if they want to communicate with you, that they are capable of communicating with you. I can't get it. I listen, I try, but I can't hear them. So I don't know if I need to do some sort of meditation. I mean, my pineal gland is fully active. It is fully in use. Sometimes a little too much. It's a little hard some nights to get it to deactivate because they want to still play and I really need to go to sleep. So if anybody has any suggestions, if you can think of anything that maybe I could try, I would really appreciate that. If you come up with anything. Just to let you guys know too, when I edited the footage for that walk on the walking trail with DuPont, I did it on my phone and there's just a teeny tiny little screen. I can't see hardly anything. I mean, I've even had to whip out a magnifying glass to try to do it. But my phone has a lot more gigs available than my iPad does. But when I went back and watched it on my iPad, oh my goodness, there was so much stuff there. So I'm going to try to edit those up and get those out to you guys on Friday. I have edited this one also on my phone, so you guys might actually be able to see things a whole lot better if you watch it on a device with a higher resolution, because I couldn't get but so much out of it, with my old iPhones. It's a 2020, but it still takes, decent footage. I can't complain. But there are beings in the background sometimes also with these orbs, and I've been able to see them. I don't know if you guys will be able to see them, but just remember, you can always hit that little wheel symbol up on the video and you can change the playback speed of the video. I have to tell you, I just learned that like a couple of weeks ago. My youngest son showed me, because I'm always in a hurry and I'm trying to get as much of this information in as possible. And so I often turn it up to like 1.5 speed. Plus, I talk like I'm on island time. I get that. I talk very slow. So you can always speed me up too, and then maybe go back and, watch it for content, because you can pause and you can zoom in. You can see these things. You can do screenshots and really get a good look at them. They are really cool and very interesting. So I guess that really led me to believe too that, I know that the fairies are attached to these ETs in some way, shape, or form, because they're all over the place. They're all around them. I think that maybe they're here to try to help us too. Because I think that the more people that we have on this planet with a higher vibrational level, then the faster it will be for us to go into the 5th dimension. There's also something in the Bible about the rapture. And I think, you're going to turn around. They did some kind of movie or something about one time. You're going to turn around and the person's not going to be there, but you're still going to be here. So that's an interesting point too. I don't think that it's necessarily going to happen that way, just because we're shifting the whole planet. We're not just shifting, a group of people. As far as I can see, it's going to be the entire planet. That's, I think, why, we're getting some help here, is because it's going to be the whole planet shifting. And with that being the case, then you wouldn't see one person disappear. You would only see that if the planet splits. Like if the ones who are already in the higher vibrational frequency, if they split off and then the lower ones stayed in a different, in the 3D world. I don't know how that would work. I mean, and I don't think that that's what is going to happen. And the reason why I say that is because these other beings have been doing their very best to keep our vibrations down low. So if it was a separate process, I'm telling you what, a lot of us would already be gone. I mean, we wouldn't still be here. So I think that us being here is why it's going to be the whole planet. And I think that was the whole reason why I had a visit from the green one. I read something online too that if your video is liked more times and if it's shared more, that it will come up in the results more often. So I'm trying to figure out ways for us to reach people, guys. I just don't know how. I'm thinking about maybe should I change the channel name to Fearless Teresa, or just Fearless, or IamTeresa Fearless. I don't know how that would work if I would because the other ones are already in the other channel name. I don't know if maybe that would circumvent the shadow banning issue. I don't know, but I hope that whoever is responsible for all the shadow banning, I do hope that they are brought to light, whoever it is that's responsible for this, and that they are held accountable for this also. Because you guys, for me, this is not about money. It's not about any kind of fame. I have been doing this now for a year and a half. There are some weeks I work like 60, 70 hours doing this. I'm doing this for all of us, for the whole world, to raise their vibration so that we can all get to a better place, a happier place. But as long as they keep on doing this stuff, as long as they keep on shoving the videos down and not putting them out, then nobody's going to see us. And then what's going to happen is, if we do shift into 5, and those entities that they call them the monster level on 4, if all of a sudden all these things, people start being able to see them, it is going to terrify them. So I think it's better that they know about these things ahead of time. It's what I did when I knew I was going to most likely run into a sabe at some point. I looked at every single picture I could find, every picture, every drawing, anything I could find, because I didn't want to freak out. And I was blessed to be able to see one. Now, he was a decent ways from me, but you know what? I was armed, and he still trusted me enough to show himself. So I felt very special about that. I really hope that people are able to see the photos and they're able to see these beings, so that once they are here, they're not going to freak out. They're not going to, be terrified because they have seen these beings. There's no reason to be terrified of them. None whatsoever. Because, like I said, they're in a different dimension and they're not able to hurt us. I mean, if they were able to hurt us, those big guys would not have been dropping those things down at me and letting me play with them for a moment before they got scooped up by the guardians. So they're not anything bad. And I'm going to just keep on doing this. I'm going to keep on plugging at it. I'm going to keep on making the videos. I'm going to keep on putting them up. I'm going to keep on trying to get in touch with these folks to see if they will tell me anything, if I can communicate with them, because just a little bit of direction once in a while would be nice. But my room has become wild. I'm telling you guys, it is really wild. Like, I look down at the end of my room. I noticed many different times really, that I got kind of disoriented in my own room. And I'm like, my bedroom is not that big, okay? It's little. And I have a big wardrobe. It's not like a huge bedroom. So it seemed like my bed was further away from like my ceiling fan. It was further away from the wall. It just, like I said, it was very disorienting a couple nights. And I thought, well, maybe I'm not feeling good. Maybe I'm just like running a fever and don't even know it or something. But the other night, I've seen them now, like half their body walks under the boards and the other half are above the boards. My room size changes, so I think it's just kind of shifting in and out of the dimensions. And that's why I'm seeing all these different beings in these different, like, different levels, because some of them are so tall they can't even, like, really get in my room. So either that, or like I said one time before, my room is a bar in another dimension. And there's just all kinds of people around. I don't think so, though. Also, I've been getting, this is really unusual too, in my hall, I get this light flicking on and off once in a while. And I wouldn't dare go out there and look, because whatever they're doing, if they wanted me to see it, they would have been doing it in my room. So this light comes on, it comes off, it comes on, comes off. And I thought, well, maybe they need some light. So I turned on a little night light in the bathroom, because the light that was flicking on and off, it was not one of my lights. It wasn't like my hall light. It was my bathroom light. It was nothing like that. It was something that they had. So I thought maybe they needed a little light. So I turned that on. It didn't seem to make it. I mean, I haven't seen the light come back on since. So I don't know. I'm hoping that maybe we're getting pretty close to getting through this, you guys. I mean, I'm going to keep on. I'm going to keep on keeping on. I'm not giving up. No way. I'm not stopping. I'm going to keep on doing everything that I can to try to help this. And just know that I love you. I mean it too. When I say it, I mean it. I love you. And I really want good things for you. I want good things for all of us. So I'm still here just doing everything that I can think of. And like I said, if you guys have any kind of, suggestions for me, if you have any input over this, whether or not we lose our bodies or we keep our bodies, I'd like to have input on that. I've also put messages out to these different channels that have people who are very aware of these different dimensional things and such. Nobody ever gets back. Nobody ever responds to it. It's weird. It's like, what in the world? I mean, it's almost kind of eerie, when you leave a comment and there are already like 26 comments and nobody says anything. Ugh, I don't know. It's just, like I said, it's a little creepy. So I have some stuff going on that I need to look into. So I love you guys, like I said, very, very much. And if you can remember to hit the like button, that will help us. And if you can think of anybody to share it with, I inundate everybody I know. Every time I make a video, I share it with everybody I know. Because I figure, I'll do whatever I can to try to get our numbers up there just so that people can see these beings. I'm also going to try to do just some specific being videos eventually when I get to it. I got so much on my plate with all of this. But like a video on fairies, a video on the Sabe, on the black beings, the dark green, all the different ones, just so people can see kind of like the different classifications. The giants are big. There's a lot of giants that I see. They are awesome too. Oh my goodness. I mean, something else, but there's a lot of giants also. So I hope they're I'm sure they're part of the Good Guide team, because they're hanging out with the Guardians. So I feel completely confident to say that the giants are the good guys. They're not the Nephilim. That is something completely different. And right now, I don't even have time to dig into that. I'm just trying to stay afloat with everything that's happening here. So I'm going to go. You guys watch the video. You can pause anytime, get closer looks. You can go back through it and keep my voice out of it so you can actually pay attention because they're really cute. They're really cool. And at the end, oh, I put some special fairy pictures. You know I had to. I love those little fairies. Okay, I love you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright, and for the first time in a long time I'm alright. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I'm not falling, I'll push all my chips and call all in. I'll bet on myself, you keep stalling. I hear destiny and it's calling. I'll keep my head up high through the downs and lows, and we're all going life. Still nobody knows, but I'ma choose what's right and take what comes and goes. And ain't no one in life holding me back no more. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays,